You know that feeling where you've been thinking about the same thing for hours, maybe days, and you still can't reach a single decision? Most people call that overthinking, and most people assume it's a mental health problem, a sign that something is broken inside you. But what if it's not broken at all? What if your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and the real problem is how much information you're feeding it?
By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your brain gets stuck in loops, and it has nothing to do with anxiety, weakness, or lack of discipline. We're going to look at how your brain builds mental models, why more information actually makes decisions harder instead of easier, and how modern systems, especially AI, are quietly increasing this pressure for all of us. Once you see what's really happening, overthinking starts to make sense. There was a famous study done at Columbia University. Researchers set up a jam tasting booth in a grocery store. One day, they offered shoppers 24 different flavors. Another day, just 6. The day with 24 flavors, people stopped, tasted, and smiled, but almost no one bought anything. The day with 6 flavors, people bought 10 times more jam. Not because the jam was better, because choosing became possible again.
So here's what overthinking actually feels like, day to day. You're trying to make a decision, and it doesn't even have to be a big one. It could be something small, like how to spend your weekend, or something big, like changing careers, moving cities, or ending a relationship. Instead of just choosing, your mind starts running scenarios. What if I do this? What if I do that? What if I regret it later? What would other people think? What if there's a better option I haven't considered yet? Each question pulls in another layer, and suddenly you're not weighing 2 options, you're weighing 10, 20, an entire web of what-ifs that keeps expanding. And then it gets worse. Because now you're not just thinking about the decision, you're thinking about your thinking. You notice that you're stuck. You tell yourself you should have decided already, and that self-awareness adds pressure on top of pressure. It feels exhausting. It feels isolating, like everyone else just decides and moves on, while you're still sitting there replaying the same loop. If this sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're overloaded. So here's what's actually happening inside your brain when you overthink. Your brain doesn't experience reality directly. It builds models. Mental models are internal simulations, simplified versions of the world your brain uses to predict what might happen next. When you're deciding whether to take a new job, your brain isn't just thinking about the job itself, it's running simulations. It pulls in past experiences, stories you've heard from other people, what success looks like, what failure felt like last time, what you believe you should want. Each of these inputs becomes a separate model. And here's the critical part. Your brain doesn't immediately choose one. It compares them. It runs one simulation, then another. It weighs outcomes. It checks for errors. It tries to figure out which model best predicts reality. That comparison process is what you experience as overthinking. The loop doesn't happen because you're anxious. It happens because your brain has too many competing models running at the same time. Your mind is a comparison engine, and comparison only works when the number of options is limited. Once the number of active models crosses a certain threshold, the system can't resolve, so it keeps cycling. Overthinking isn't a flaw in your personality. It's what happens when a prediction system gets overloaded with possibilities. So if this is how the brain works, why does it feel so much worse now than it did before? Because the number of models has exploded. 100 years ago, most comparisons were local. You compared yourself to the people around you, your family, your workplace, your community. Today, you're exposed to thousands of lives, opinions, and paths every single day. Every scroll adds another reference point, another way of doing things, another definition of success. And then there's AI. Not in some dramatic future sense, but right now. You ask a simple question: should I switch jobs? Should I learn this skill? Should I move? And AI doesn't give you one answer. It gives you 5 well-reasoned alternatives, each logical, each persuasive, each incomplete. Your brain now has to simulate all of them. The pressure didn't come from chaos, it came from more inputs, more options, more models competing for resolution.
And here's what all that pressure actually does to you. It doesn't break you. It wears you down. Decisions start to feel heavier than they should, not because you're lazy or indecisive, but because your brain can't finish the comparison. You feel tired without having done anything physical. That fatigue is real. It's the cost of running simulations that never resolve. Over time, you start to feel fragmented, like you don't know what you actually want anymore. Because you're no longer choosing from your values, you're choosing from everyone else's models of what a good life looks like. That's not a personality issue. That's an overloaded system trying to cope.
Here's the part that changes how you see overthinking. Overthinking is not the problem. It's the symptom. The real problem is that you've been handed more information than any human brain was ever built to process, and nobody warned you. You were taught to treat overthinking like a personal flaw, something to fix with discipline or motivation. But the real lever isn't inside you, it's in what you allow in. Your brain doesn't need more effort, it needs fewer models to compare. Clarity doesn't come from adding information, it comes from subtraction. The people who seem calm and decisive aren't wired differently. They haven't optimized harder. They've limited their comparison load, often without even realizing it. The fix was never about thinking harder, it was always about thinking less.
Your brain isn't broken, it's just full. And the most powerful thing you can do, starting today, isn't to push yourself harder. It's to become intentional about what you let into your mind. Not because you're weak, because you're human. Humans aren't built for infinite input. They're built for enough. You're not overthinking because something is wrong with you. You're overthinking because the world is giving you too much to think about. If you like understanding how your brain actually works, not the myths, the real mechanisms, then Science Simplified is exactly where you belong. Stay curious.